people are getting on board.
Oh, there's Mark.
Oh, Mark is
He's
coming
connecting.
now too.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's viewing, we're running a few minutes late. We're waiting for a third board member to join us, and it looks like he's trying to right now.
Beautiful day today, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm in the Lewis Campana role today of being outdoors, at least for part of this. I'll probably go in at some point, but it's too nice out.
So again, we have only a 4-member board. 1 member was not able to attend the meeting, and we're waiting for the 3rd member to join us so that we have a quorum. And he's trying. Okay.
You hear me?
Yes. So Mark, you're all set?
Oh my God. What a day.
All right, it's public.
Yeah,
so don't say anything stupid.
Mark, are you going to be able to have video, or are you just audio?
Just audio for right now.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Is that okay?
Sure. If so, Jim, I think now that we have the quorum, you can officially start the meeting.
Great. Good evening, everyone. This is the Town of Eastchester Planning Board meeting of May 27, 2021. I'll do the roll call. Mr. Phil Nemisak.
Present.
Mark Cunningham.
Present.
Jim Bonanno is present, and Lewis Campana is not able to attend tonight. We will we'll approve the meeting minutes. So I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2021 Planning Board meeting, subject to comments from Mr.
One
Nemisak.
minor correction, yes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just for the viewing audience, a number of applications are not going to be heard tonight and have been adjourned. So they are application 1942, 5 Ray Place, has been adjourned to the June 24th, 2021 Planning Board meeting. The next application 20-19, that's 189-199 Brook Street, Kids Corners, has been adjourned for ZBA and ARB review. And the third application 21-17, 15 Tuckahoe Avenue Subdivision, has also been adjourned to the June 24th Planning Board meeting. The applications you are going to hear are ones that have been up last week, and we'll run through those in a minute. But until that, I'm going to explain how to participate in public hearings. If you haven't done before, if you would like to make a comment after a hearing has been opened, use the raise feature on your computer or *9 if you're calling in from a landline. Mr. Tedesco will acknowledge you and invite you to speak, and then unmute your microphone and state your name and address. Just before we get started, the applications we're going to hear tonight, the ones we've heard previously are Sweet Green, 670 White Plains Road, Seraphina, same address, and new applications are 95 Parkway Circle, Greystone Circle Subdivision, and 750 White Plains Road. So the first application, The old application is 21-15 Sweet Green, 670 White Plains Road.
Takes me a minute to get everyone set up. And I believe, are there just the four of you presenting this evening? I have Lauren, Margaret, Pamela, and Ryan.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're all set.
I don't see Margaret on here, is she?
Yeah, you know what? I think I promoted somebody else. And we will get this person. Let me see here. Okay, now you should be all set. Why is this person?
No, you did Margaret Lopez Blum. She's there.
Okay.
I see her. Well, I did see her. No, I don't.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness. Hold on.
She has the materials.
Coming.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Hey. I'm not sure why I'm not appearing here, but that's okay. Give me a second to get my screen set up.
Sure.
Okay, we're seeing some.
Can you see that?
Yes, we are.
Here we go. All right. Well, good evening, members of the board. My name is Margaret Lopez Blum, and I'm a Senior Development Manager with JSD Professional Services. Also, this evening, as mentioned, we do have a few folks from Sweet Green as well as the project architect. Basically, we're here this evening to provide you with updates to our initial application for site plan, architectural review, and special permit approval for a new Sweet Green restaurant with outdoor dining proposed at 670 White Plains Road. We've updated our plans based on comments received from the planning board on April 22nd and also from input received from the Architectural Review Board on May 6th. The revisions include small changes to the storefront facade and minor adjustments in collaboration with the Seraphina architect to the outdoor dining area. Additionally, Sweet Green has adjusted their interior light fixture specifications for their proposed wall sign in order to accommodate the requested warm white effect that ARB had asked for, and we'll be presenting that to the sign review committee on June 4th. We hope that at the conclusion of our presentation, the planning board, after any questions, will find the proposed adjustments are responsive to the concerns of both reviewing bodies and that you'll provide a final vote of approval for the project. At this point, I'll turn things over to the Sweet Green designer, Lauren Kenoy, and she'll give you a bit more detail regarding the proposed modifications since our last appearance.
Thanks, Margaret. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you again. So we will jump down into our plans. Based on the previous discussions, we've worked with Seraphina, who will be the adjacent tenant plan north of us, on creating an 8-foot sidewalk clearance in front of both of our patio spaces. So to do this, we have reduced our exterior patio area. I believe we lost about 4 two-top tables, but per this plan, we're holding an 8-foot clearance. We've also added some light gray umbrellas in front of our space. Seraphina is also presenting umbrellas within their space, so we figured that this would be a nice continuation of both of our storefront expressions. The planters will be concrete planters. I'm actually on site at a project in Chicago. These planters are over 700 pounds and they don't move. So we'll plan to plant evergreen plantings in them so they can stay out in the patio area during the winter months. And we can bring out our dining tables and chairs on warmer days when it's not raining or snowing as we see fit. But just to address the comment of the winter expression on the exterior, we'll continue those 5 plantings throughout the winter. Here is our patio package. We have white cafe tables and green cafe chairs. The planters are a large concrete like planter bed, and the exterior umbrellas are a light gray fabric. This next page shows our full plan along with Seraphina's. So you can see how they've made adjustments to the sidewalk below their patio seating, and it ramps up toward our space and maintains the 8-foot hold dimension throughout for pedestrians and stroller consideration. This is an updated exterior rendering from our team, just showing the light gray umbrellas up in front of the storefront. Sorry, it's taking a little while to load. This page is just showing a detailed elevation. One request of the Architectural Review Board was that we fill in the current reveals that are within the brickwork above our space. We agree with this adjustment and think that it will create a better mounting surface for our sign. And in doing that, so we'll use thin brick pieces to kind of cap those areas, and it'll be one consistent surface across. And we'll also, on the far plan left where our demise wall ends and we are next to an adjacent tenant, we will create a new reveal there to separate our storefronts. So here is just an image showcasing those existing reveals, which will be filled in, and then the black line shows about where our demise wall will end and where we would create a new kind of notch point to create separation between our storefront and the tenant that will go next to us in the future. This page is just showing our material samples. We would be using the existing brick that's there and then filling it with this briquette material, which is like a thin brick veneer. And then we would be painting it all white so that it would all look consistent. The wood that we would be using on the storefront will be a natural white cedar. And to the right is an example of one of our projects outside of Boston, where we've used the same storefront materials with the white painted brick and the natural cedar storefront, so you can kind of get a feel for how it will look in real life and not just in some renderings. This is a Photoshop rendering that the Seraphina team had pulled together, showing both of our spaces next to each other and the relationship of our patios and our exterior storefronts.
I believe that's it in terms of just going over the changes since the last time we appeared before Planning Board. Are there questions that you have for us?
Sure. So first, thank you for adjusting your table count to get the 8 foot clear. That's certainly what we're looking for, and we do appreciate it. Otherwise, did we talk about this last time? As far as that awning, is that retractable or is that stays in that position?
The awning is not retractable; it's fixed.
Okay, got it. And as far as the planters and the what's going in them, is that about the size of the plantings that you intend on putting in there?
Yeah, they would be low plantings. They're just really meant to frame in our area, not to conceal it.
Okay. Did the ARB have comments, or you presented what their comments were? What we ended up with, have addressed all their comments?
We've addressed their comments.
Okay.
I have one question. This is Mark Cunningham. Basically, I thought I read something about ARB mentioned something about the colors with the yellow and
that's Seraphina. Yeah.
And Seraphina. So is that all going to be the same, or is it going to be that drastic where it's green and yellow?
I believe Seraphina is replacing those umbrellas to a navy blue, which is also one of their brand colors, but I'll let them speak to that in more detail when they present.
Yeah, so Mark, the ARB had requested that Seraphina change the colors of the umbrellas to a navy blue, but did allow them to keep the retractable awnings that you see on the facade of the building, the yellow. So yes, unfortunately, that rendering's a little, it doesn't really represent what's being proposed at Seraphina.
Okay, yeah, it's just, I mean, it's all very nice. It just seems to kind of clash with each other, Okay.
I think what Mark is, Mark's trying to say, if you made it blue and changed the name to Sweet Blue, it'd all match very well. I think.
Well, the green and the yellow, I guess, is what's throwing me off here. So.
Yeah, I think the ARB agreed that the yellow was a little too much with so many yellow umbrellas. So again, that's a completely different applicant, but they agreed to change the umbrella colors to a blue that will be a richer, darker blue to kind of correspond with the sweet green.
But not the awning, right?
Not the awnings, but the Seraphina awnings are retractable.
Okay.
But you're still going to have that edge at the bottom, it seems.
It's going to look like what it looks like in this rendering. In this, that's the awnings. It looks like they're retracted there. I can't really tell.
So when they pull out, they're going to be yellow. So you are going to have yellow, right? The awnings are retracted there. I mean, we'll talk to Seraphina about this. Great.
Yes.
So
they're also different stores,
so they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So, right, Ms. Kanoy. The only other thing was. You showed some wood textures on the project in Boston. Are there any here, or are they all?
Yeah, I'm not seeing them.
They're really pretty. That looks
very nice.
Yeah, can you do that here?
Gorgeous.
They are proposing it. These are the same storefront materials that we're proposing for this site.
I understand.
Can you go back to the rendering though, because it looks gray. Everything looks gray.
The rendering's misleading because the rendering took into account the existing storefront. The existing storefront is
so if you go up to our SketchUp rendering, Margaret.
Yeah.
This is like what our intention is.
Got it. Got it.
The Photoshop rendering in connection with Seraphina, the colors got a little off, but this is our proposed design.
Yeah, that's nice. The wood is very nice. What kind of wood is it?
It's a white cedar.
Very nice.
Good. I like it.
What
was the issue? I think the ARB had some sort of a concern that you've addressed concerning the lighting on the sweet green sign in the evenings. Could you explain that to me? Yeah.
Yeah, our standard light color temperature that we spec was a little cooler than what their preference is. So we worked with them to identify a warmer color temperature that they would get on board with. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was. I think our standard was like 6,500 K, and we reduced it to
5,000.
to 5,000.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it will emit
whatever
a
that
warmer.
means.
Yeah, speaking of
It's
color
warmer.
temperatures.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then the other concern was that they wanted us to cover the seams that exist within the brick.
Yes.
today. And that's why that briquette infill that Lauren discussed is being implemented to address any seams so they won't be seen. It'll be consistent throughout.
And that briquette is going to do a pretty good job. You're not going to really see any evidence of the seams once that's all bricked in and painted over.
Yeah, especially once it's all grouted and painted, it will look very consistent with the existing brick. We use this briquette material actually when we're building our own new stores from the ground up. So I believe this Burlington Mall store is briquette painted white. So it will have the same effect.
Okay.
Okay. And the planter is going to be gray, similar to what's shown here.
Yeah, the planters are a concrete finish.
Oh, they'll be concrete. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Just
have.
I have a question for Margaret, which is I know that Sweet Green came first numerically. It was first filed, but I believe at the last hearing we heard Seraphina's application first, and we're hearing Sweet Green's today first. I assume we will vote on Sweet Green's independent of Seraphina's. They're different applications, but I know that there is we've deliberately looked at both of them together because they interplay with each other, and the presentation even showed the neighboring store, and I know we wanted to make sure that there was flow certainly in the sidewalks, but putting all of that aside, we just vote on this one right now, correct?
Yes,
After
absolutely.
this,
I mean, I think that it made sense because they were coincidentally adjacent to each other that you wanted to see circulation between the two, but Sweet Green just demonstrated that to you, and then I think Seraphina will demonstrate the same thing to you. So I think that's fine. And they're also, just to be clear, this application is requesting special permit approval for the restaurant itself, special permit approval for the outdoor dining, and then site plan and architectural review approval for the facade. So those are different approvals that are being requested from Seraphina.
Okay. And I think we have an open public hearing, I think, right? Or did we open it last time? Yeah.
No, we do. But one more question before we move on. So do you guys have a site plan or something that shows the seating outside? I think you had it. Yep. You just put that back up because my question is about the ramp and who's responsible for the ramp. I'm pretty sure you're going to say Seraphina.
Yeah, so we actually are not making any changes to the existing landlord's sidewalk in front of our space. The only thing that we're really doing here is maintaining the 8 feet that is requested. Seraphina is making some adjustments. Currently, the sidewalk goes straight plan north-south, and they're proposing seating, so they're going to ramp around it. So no adjustments are being made to that sidewalk in front of our space.
Right, the 8 foot clear that you've identified, that's yours.
Yep.
Okay, right, so the shaded space denoted as 6 is Seraphina, so we'll take that up with them. I'm okay with that. That being said, we'll just go back to the public hearing. Unless anyone else has comments, we're good here?
No, I'm good.
Good. So, Robert, is there anyone in the
You have
public?
to make
open, right.
why
So
don't you just make a motion to open it again?
Sure, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing on application 21-15 Sweet Green 670 White Plains Road.
Was it still open?
Yeah, it's still open. That's
I think it was. Well, Margaret said again.
Well, you still
so I
should
did
you
it
need to
again.
reopen it to make it clear that it's an opportunity for people to speak. So you're reopening the public hearing.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
if there are any members of the public that wish to address the board on this application, please use the raise your hand feature, and I will invite you to unmute yourself. Mr. Chairman, at this time, I don't see any hands raised from the attendees at the meeting, so it does not appear as if there are any members of the public that wish to address the board on this section.
Great, thank you, Robert. I take that to mean that everyone's very anticipating this. So then
They're already lining up.
they're only lining up for salads. So then I make a motion to close the public hearing application 21-15 Sweet Green, 670 White Plains Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I think it's very handsome.
Mhm.
Looking forward to it. Great job on the design. I think it's sort of set a standard for the kind of retail places we want to see in this shopping center. So thank you for doing that. And then I'll make a motion to approve. So I'll make there's no conditions, right, Margaret? We're good to go.
That's right.
Off season. Oh, for the off season, you're leaving the plants. Tables stay out or tables go in?
The tables are movable. They'll need to be brought in inclement weather, and will probably be brought in on cold days. But we will work with the landlord's team to see if we can find some on-site storage so that they can be brought out on the warmer days.
Okay.
Mhm. Makes
So
sense.
I make a motion to approve application 2115 Sweet Green, 670 White Plains Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Nice job.
Good luck.
Good luck. Nice job.
What's
Thank
the plan?
you.
Right. When do you guys
Thank you
plan on
very
being
much.
in? End of summer?
Yeah, we plan
As
to
possible.
plan to take possession in September. We want to break ground, and then
Yeah.
we will be open the middle of January.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Great.
Looking forward to it.
Very nice. Good luck.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good luck.
Thank you for your
all.
time.
Thanks, everyone. So next
Thank
next application is 2116 Seraphina, 670 White Plains Road.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you see me now?
No. Oh, now we do.
Yes.
How
Mhm.
you doing? Chris Crocco, Joseph Crocco Architects. I'm representing Seraphina. We were before you, I don't know, a month ago? 422, a month ago. We've since then we've went to ARB, we've satisfied them. And then from there now we are back to you. I'll share my screen, we'll go from there. Okay. So here is our site plan. As you can see, we did a composite with them to show we were holding 8 feet. We're holding basically 8 feet throughout here. It does slim down here for that short period of about 8 feet. But then from there, it goes back to 8 feet all the way through. All the way to when you reach the end for the traffic crossing. Another thing I'd like to share is the rendering. It's the rendering with the blue awnings up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So these navy blue fabric umbrellas will match their navy blue writing sign. We think it's a nice contrast. It keeps with their brand colors, and I think it offers, like I said, a nice contrast between the yellow and the blue. The yellow, request of the company, but I think the ARB made the right decision by switching to the navy. I think it looks very nice. Other than that, also there was a big concern on children's safety and all pedestrian safety, shall we say. So we added the this railing that kind of matches. You can see the same railing in the back here, closer to Seraphina.
Sure.
So we added this to, make that division between pedestrian traffic and vehicle traffic. So that was our way of answering that problem. I believe that was all the concerns we had. I guess, we'll take questions.
Sure. I guess we also had the comment with your application about off-season. The another applicant I know of is putting something there to keep it vibrant, or at least during the off-season. Any
Yes,
ideas?
I mean, our intention is to try to use the outdoor space as much as possible. I mean, everybody knows, I mean, we have some mild winters where, we plan to put heaters out there and try to keep the season going as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I know during this past winter, outdoor seating was at a premium, especially on the handful of days that were nice enough, where the temperature might have been in the 40s or 50s, and with a space heater or one of those propane heaters, you were able to eat outdoors. But we also had the whole month of February where there was snow on the ground. So is there an intention on just leaving the dining furniture out there all winter long and keeping your fingers crossed for good weather, or is there an intention to move it to some other location if and when you have a long cold spell?
Well, I believe according to your code, unless it's bolted down, it has to be brought in every night. Isn't that correct, Margaret?
Yes, it is.
So, I mean, we definitely would not leave it out there in the middle of a snowstorm. But we do plan on, like I said, trying to extend that season for as long as possible. Seraphina, before it was Seraphina, was Fig and Olive. They had outdoor seating. We were before you. So we do have an area to store the furniture, bring it out on the nice days, and utilize it as much as possible. If Mother Nature agrees, we've had some winters that are extremely mild, and they could be out there a couple times a week. That's kind of all I can speak to.
Sure. Could you go back to the plan view, please? Is there any opportunity to put some sort of landscaping there to? Yeah. Sort of divide it. So that's one question, and of course the ramp is still an open item. I think what's the dimension of the ramp? It's 5'6".
Yes.
Yeah, that's not what we were looking for.
Well, I do remember that, and I went ahead, and unfortunately it was post submission, but I was able to, if I can find it, do an 8-foot plan. If it'll move, I'll show it to you.
Sure.
You guys see that?
I do.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect.
So, I mean, we can make this work. There's no problem. If this is what's gonna, if it, to make, we want to make everyone happy, and if this makes everyone happy, I think it does work very well. Keeps the 8 feet all the way through. You got two-way traffic passing. I mean, I don't think it gets any better than this. We'll be.
Few planters would make it better, but I'll talk about that in a second. No, the 8 feet looks good. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't forget. I mean, we have plantings all the way around that are kind of gonna stick up a little past the wall.
That's true.
So I think streetscape wise, I think it's going to be adequate. And keep in mind, we're rerouting all the pedestrians. No pedestrians are going to want to come through here. They have no reason to, unless they're going to the restaurant.
Sure. Okay. So in your rendering, I mean, it's nice you said the shrubs are going to extend above the retaining wall. Is that the case, or how tall is that? Is that reasonable?
I mean, the retaining wall is only 24 to 30 inches high, and we plan on putting, boxwoods that are.
What do they extend to?
They're pretty tall. They might be about 3 feet. Let me see, show the render. Yeah, I mean, these aren't the exact ones that are there because it's hard, but the ones that currently sit, let me see if I can find those. As you can see, I mean, this is about the height of the wall we're going to have. So as you can see, they do stick up past there, the ones that are actually there that we're going to save.
Okay.
Chris, could you go back to the site plan as well?
Sure.
Thank you. Jim, I do think there's a little difference because for Sweet Green, they're really using those to define their space and to kind of define the circulation pattern, where I'm not sure just putting and obviously in front of their storefront, they're going to maintain those. But when I'm not sure putting some concrete planters within that bigger plaza area, especially if they're not maintained, personally, I don't know if that would add much to it. When you already have the stone wall and you have the green shrubs defining it.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. The stone wall is actually handsome in and of itself. And you're right. I think if you were to put a planter at the end of the dimension line for 7 3¼ it's just going to get way too cluttered, right? It's just another piece of stuff that's going to mess it up.
Yeah, if the tables are removed, then you just sort of have a plaza-like feel in front of the restaurant.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's a valid point by Margaret. I mean, we're kind of defined because we're in that corner and we have that stone wall kind of defining our space.
It's pretty much the same as the existing.
It's basically just extended out a little.
Yeah. What do you say, Mark?
No, I was going to say, I think the lower boxwoods, the greenscape across there with the stone wall is very attractive. It looks very nice.
I definitely think that makes the corner.
It definitely enhances that corner for sure, as compared to the way it was before.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like it. So we'll go with that, the 8 feet, sure. So did you lose a couple of tables when you did that? I guess you did, right?
No, we actually didn't. We were able to kind of stocky them and offset them.
Okay.
To make them work.
Sure. I don't have any other comments, guys. Do you?
Nope. I think it looks good.
I like it.
I do too. Another handsome project.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you for offering the 8 feet ramp. So I'll make a motion to reopen the public hearing on this application, 21-16, Seraphina, 670 White Plains Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Off to you, Mr. Tedesco.
The participants, if there are any members of the public that wish to address the board, please use the raise your hand feature. Mr. Chairman, at this time, there are no members of the public that are indicating they wish to address the board on this application.
Thank you. So I will make a motion to close the public hearing on 21-16 Seraphina, 670 White Plains Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, Mr. Crocker, just briefly, is the extent of the wood fence, does it make the turn, or is that what's on the north side?
Yes, it wraps.
It does. It wraps around
It
and
wraps to the front to protect
and-
on all sides.
then touches the retaining wall at that side. It goes all the way up to the retaining wall.
No, you'd stop because there's a ramp that goes.
Oh yeah, of course. It would
There's
cut
the
off the ramp
ramp
if you did
over
that.
here
Yep,
that leads out into the parking lot, and then the crosswalk over here.
got it.
Yep.
So I understand.
Might I ask, where was the extra 3 feet on the ramp? Where was that found? Where was it borrowed from?
I took it out of our outdoor dining patio area.
Okay.
Right, they somehow made the seat everything closer to each other.
Mhm.
So, strange question. I just do have to ask. All of the umbrellas are in space stands that are sufficient. And they can be
Absolutely.
open-
Yeah, absolutely. It's all commercial grade furniture.
Right.
And the building department actually does review those
Mhm.
to make sure that they're weighted and secured properly.
So every day they're rolled in and out, or the umbrella spaces stay there.
They'll be
That's nice.
every night. They'll be taken in and brought back out.
Our zoning law requires that.
Yeah,
That's great.
unless they're bolted down.
Okay. I don't have any other comments. So, as I said with Sweet Green, did a very nice job. I think it's a
Yeah.
vast improvement to the corner. I like the colors. I'm a big guy on colors, and I like the combination of the two. So,
Yeah, I have just a quick question about the awnings, because I think you said that the awnings are retractable here. How far out do they extend at full extension?
They extend.
Is it uniform across every one of them, or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They all
Mhm.
extend. They all extend the same. They come out about 8 feet.
Okay, I see that 9 feet. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that? Oh, 8 feet.
That's,
Yes, I see. Yeah.
and they're rolled in at the end of the night also.
Yeah, the front ones, and chatting with them, the front ones rarely get used. It's the side ones that really get used more.
Mhm.
And it was like that with Fig and Olive. I don't know what it is. It's just how it goes. I don't know.
Okay.
It's probably because of the sun.
Yeah, I mean, the south side of the building is
Yes.
actually the side. So yeah,
Mhm.
you're probably right.
Right. That's the path of the sun.
Yeah,
East to west, and it passes over the south.
yeah, it comes like this.
It's like a science lesson from our
It
chairman.
is.
Thank you, Jim.
Right. It's in the
Does it shine on the
summertime.
front of the building?
Right. In the summertime, it's lower in the sky too, so you need it over there. Trust me, I know all about it. Anyway, so nice job, Mr. Crocker. Thank you for the attention to everything and for accommodating our requests.
No problem.
So then I'll make a motion to approve this application 21-16 Seraphina, 670 White Plains Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
With the condition of the 8-foot wide ramp.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you guys have the
Okay.
same construction schedule as your neighbor there? Start.
We actually received our building permit for the alterations on the inside yesterday. So we got moving with the interior, and we'll be filing for this. I mean, maybe make a push to get it ready for the fall and get, good time out there.
So, Margaret, as far as construction logistics, when they're working on that sidewalk and everything, that's all subject to your department to make sure everything's done correctly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So we don't need to talk about that. Okay.
No.
Great. Thank you.
Have a great
Thanks,
night,
Chris.
everybody. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Tim.
All right. Thank you.
Next application is 21-21 95 Parkway Circle. Ooh, excuse me.
Hello?
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you, Anthony.
Uh,
Can we see you?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm afraid to hit this. I might lose you. Do you need to see me?
Yeah,
No,
sure.
no.
But
You've
if
done
you,
this before.
Yeah.
if you reduce your screen a little bit, you probably could get to the pop-ups at the bottom. That'll allow you to go to video.
There I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, members of the board. Anthony Gizzo from R&A Property Ventures. Guess I'm back before you because I made some changes to the exterior of the front of the house. Reason being was we had 2 bay windows in the front of the house. And when we dug down, we found the water main, sewer main, and gas main. So we scratched the bay window. But like every other builder, we try to get everything in order. So we pre-ordered the windows before breaking the ground. And I had 3 windows left over. So we decided to continue the bay window on the right side of the house all the way through to the 2nd floor.
Anthony, can you share your screen?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to show them what they previously approved compared to what you actually constructed.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what we previously, oh wait. That's what we,
Not seeing it.
1 second. Oh shit, is now. I'm a little trouble trying to share it. I have to call my wife down. Babe?
No.
Your IT guy.
You know,
I'm not an IT guy. 1 second.
Wait.
Margaret, can you?
Yeah, I'm going to try to do it.
Yeah. Let's see.
Let me see. Here it is.
This makes for good television, but otherwise.
Let's see, I'm trying to figure out how do you share.
Margaret is all about sharing.
Okay.
We're good.
You can see it now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the, Anthony, can you see it?
I do see. Yep. That's
Okay,
the new
so
one.
this is the new one. So this shows where the two existing as-built bay windows are. And
Okay.
let me get the other one.
Which is what we approved last year.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So this had a bay window here and a bay window here. The bay windows have been eliminated here, and it's another one's 2 have been added there.
And that's the only change?
Yeah, Anthony, did you have any other changes?
We just, the 2 windows that were up where the bay went, we ended up putting them in the back side of the house.
Oh,
Okay, so
here on the back. Okay.
Yes. There was supposed to be like an awning window up above in the back. So we scrapped the awning window, which I have if anyone can use one, and put the 2 windows in.
So you took the 2 on this elevation, you moved into the back, and you got 2 additional to put them on the right-hand side of the new elevation that Margaret showed. Is that right? Yes.
3 windows, yeah.
Yeah, this is the one that was approved, the one that's
Right.
up on the screen
This
now.
is what was approved.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the other one.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
This is what was
Okay.
built.
All right.
Right, this is what was built.
No, we're good here. You don't need, thank your
Yeah.
wife, but we're good.
Okay.
Okay. I'm okay with it. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's handsome.
Where's the rear window? The rear window. I feel it sounds like it's a Hitchcock movie.
I was trying to share the screen. I couldn't share it, but she's
Yeah.
sharing it, but I just can't. See, she's sharing it for me.
Where is the additional? Where was the window that was moved from the front?
The left
Or
of the
bay
front
window?
door.
Left to the front door.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry, on the back.
On the
I want
back
to see the new one on the
elevation.
back
Are
elevation.
those
Is it
these,
depicted?
Anthony?
So on the back elevation, it would be, it's shown to the,
To the left over here, these two here?
yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, and they were, yeah, that's fine.
There was an awning window there, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, given the explanation was that when you went to put the bay window to the
Well, we dug down
left
for
of the door,
footing.
yeah.
Yeah,
So you dug, I mean, but the bay windows are supported on framing inside, right? They
no, we
didn't,
had foundation walls, footings and foundations coming up. If you could see to the right where she's pointing to,
Mhm. Yep.
shows the footings going down.
right, but that's in this elevation. The original, were there also, did they go
Yeah.
down?
Same exact.
Yeah, it would have been the same on the other side of the building.
Yeah.
The door. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Oh,
Correct.
Okay.
So you're literally pushing the whole thing out into that bay then? The house is framed out
Yes,
into that opening, right? So it's
Yeah.
not just a window sitting proud of the
Proud,
base of the
Mhm.
building. You
That's
actually
right.
built, okay, gotcha.
That's
Okay,
what I
makes
was,
sense.
I was thinking the same
Yeah.
thing.
It makes sense.
Yeah, so that's a bump out inside the house.
correct.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so
no,
the,
that's very nice.
so the
Thank you.
roof on top of the bay frames into the existing roof there?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Different-
looks
Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
Cool.
good, sir.
And this is
Right, so-
not, this is not a public hearing, but you are required to,
Waive the public.
yeah,
hearing.
waive the public hearing. So I have a motion for you, Jim, if you could
I-
just vote on that.
Got it. So I make a motion to waive the public hearing on this application 21-2195 Parkway Circle.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think you've heard all the comments, Mr. Gizzo. We're okay with it.
Mhm.
Thanks for coming back and thank your wife. So I'll make a motion to approve this application 21-2195 Parkway Circle.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck
Have-
with it. Looks
Have a
good.
nice
Have a
evening.
good evening, gentlemen.
All right, guys.
Margaret.
Okay, thank you, Anthony.
Next application is 21-20. Lots of 20s. 21-20, 20 Greystone Circle Subdivision.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Yes, we can.
All right.
Good job.
Good evening, board members. My name is Adamo Majorano from Community Designs and Engineering. On behalf of the applicant and owner, Steve Piacquadio, we are proposing a 2-lot subdivision at 20 Greystone Circle. The project is situated in the R10 zoning district. As it currently sits now, it's obviously an oversized lot. It's 31,046 square feet. So in our proposed subdivision, the existing house will remain on lot 1. That lot will be 19,098 square feet. And our proposed lot, which is lot 2, is 12,308 square feet. So both of the proposed lots will still be sort of above what the required R10 zoning district allows for a 10,000 square foot minimum lot size. I'm going to share my screen.
What's he doing?
Nope. Okay, can you see the subdivision plot?
It's
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, so this is the basic subdivision plot prepared by Big Apple Land Surveying. As you can see here, so there's lot 1, which is the existing residence, and lot 2 is the proposed new vacant lot. I'm gonna just scroll down to our preliminary stormwater management plan, so it gives a little better idea of what's going on with the existing and proposed lot. So in lot 1, in order to conform to all the zoning requirements of the R10 zoning district, because of the new lot change in square footage, we are removing some impervious surfaces so that we will be conforming to the zoning requirements. So if you look in the back here, there's some random walkways, a little piece of the stone patio area there, and also a enclosed chain link little shed roof in the back there. Those impervious areas will be removed so that we are under the allowed limit. And other than that, the existing house, as far as square footage and everything else, is complying with the zoning requirements for the new 19,000 square foot lot. In our proposed design, basically, we just kind of throw in an idea of what the house can sort of look like and consist of. Basically, because of the slope and the grade, I would imagine, a pretty low to the front house and maybe a deck in the rear. And there's some retaining wall adjustments. So right now there's an existing retaining wall here next to the driveway. That'll be shifted so that it's completely on lot 1. That retaining wall in max height is around 4 feet. And we will keep the 3-foot separation from the property line to the driveway, which is right there where my pointer is. And there'll be a new stone retaining wall that stays on lot 1, and then potentially some modifications to the retaining wall for our proposed lot 2. Then in our proposed stormwater management design, we did perform deep hole tests and percolation tests that the town engineer had come out to witness. We are capturing obviously 100% of the new impervious area on lot 2 in regards to a 100-year storm event. So as you can see, those little gray markers are new drywalls that will be situated basically in the front and rear. We just sort of considered I guess around a 3,000 square foot new impervious area of the house and driveway, and a basic stormwater management design that would capture all of that area. Believe other than that, just again, these are pictures of the existing site. It's actually when we were doing the test, so you could see some earth that was disrupted, but this is 20 Greystone Circle, the existing vacant side of the property, and picture number, where am I? Number 3 is the existing residence that basically would stay and remain as is. No real changes other than those little impervious surface adjustments that I mentioned in the back and the retaining wall. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Any questions, obviously, happy to answer.
Sure. Do we have any comments, guys?
You did, just a reminder, both you and the applicant received a memo from Joe Tremelli just yesterday, actually. So.
Yes, I quickly kind of reviewed. There's some conditions pertaining to the plot that the surveyor will, obviously will work closely with Joe Tremelli to, review. And some of them were, as far as our preliminary subdivision as well, plan for some certain little adjustments and whatnot, and maybe some stuff that pertains to the development of the actual house as well.
Okay, so this is a public hearing, so let's see if the public has any comments. So I will make a motion to open this public hearing on application 2120 20 Greystone Circle subdivision.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, it appears that there is one hand up. Mr. Tushaj, I'm going to invite you to unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself and identify yourself for the board before your comments.
Hi, this is Mark Tushaj. I live directly across the street at 15 Greystone Circle.
Good evening.
Good evening. So, I mean, this obviously changes the home that I bought a little bit. It changes the view in terms of what I'm looking across the street at. It changes how busy the street is. It changes the number of cars that are parking in the street. Does any of that play into the town's decision on this, or is it just a matter of, it meets zoning requirements and that's really what we're talking about?
As far as parking, I mean, there'll be adequate parking for this, so he'll have room for the cars. But to cut to the chase, it seems like it's as of right. He's has the right to do this on the lot. So there's not much other. We look at the application in front of us, so there's not much more that we could put forth.
We do look at applications to see if they have a significant impact on the neighborhood. I can't remember the precise legal standard. I should know it.
The character of the neighborhood.
But yeah, the character of the neighborhood. And I know we've previously addressed larger subdivisions and have approved them. A subdivision of one lot into two and the construction of one additional home, while it incrementally increases traffic, it does make the street slightly more utilized, I guess, and yes, it reduces the open space a little bit. I don't know that changes the character of the neighborhood in a way that's substantial enough that we would properly be denying this building owner the right to subdivide a property that can be subdivided.
Sure. Does the character of the neighborhood hold them to a certain level of house or standard of house that they can build?
Well, that all gets approved by when it comes before us.
Right. Once the application is in front of us, of course, we, the Architectural Review Board, we all look at it and see if the facade and what it looks like from street is in line with everything else. They'll do a streetscape showing the adjacent properties, and we'll make sure that it doesn't really stand out too much as we do on all the applications. What the architect typically does is he looks at all of the houses in the neighborhood and tries to make sure his sort of conforms, or at least is similar to the ones around. So yes, we pay very close attention to that.
Got it. One last question, and then I'll unmute. The house obviously has an impact on the neighborhood. It has an impact on the street. If it's a great house and it's super high end, maybe it raises the value. If it's not, maybe it decreases the value. Do our property taxes get impacted in any way, positively or negatively, by the quality of the home that gets built here?
Yeah, this is the planning board.
So
I can speculate on that, but I'm not even going to try.
Well, can I answer? Yeah. Can I say a couple of things?
Of course.
Just I'm going to backtrack a little bit. With regard to the subdivision approval, with regard to your first question, if it is a fully conforming lot, one thing that we do try to ensure is we do have a civil engineer review it to ensure that before it's approved as a building lot, that it can accommodate stormwater runoff when a house does come as an application. So with regard to just creating a building lot, the planning board is just confirming that it meets all the lot and bulk requirements and that it can accommodate stormwater management. When the applicant comes with a home, then the planning board and the ARB do have quite a bit of discretion, because they look at the character of the neighborhood, the character of the architecture, and in addition to the planning board, the architectural review board looks at it, and they're very concerned about the quality and character of the architecture. And it's not necessarily the same, but it's consistent with the character of the neighborhood. They also look at the landscape plan. They look at stormwater management. They may look at where the curb cut is located. So, there's a lot more latitude when it's a proposed single family home. And don't quote me on this, but I don't think it's going to affect your property taxes. It might affect your property value, which then may affect your taxes. But your taxes aren't going to increase because they built a new home. So.
But in general, improvements to lots increase home value. Right, having a beautiful home across the street.
Yeah, it works the other way around too, though, right?
If it's not pretty, sure.
That would be more my concern. But thank you. Thank you for your time.
Not at all. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Touchage.
Okay.
So, anyone else there?
Yes, there is another member of the public that wishes to address the board. I believe it's listed as Ms. Pezzo. I'm going to invite you to unmute yourself and please identify yourself before the board.
Hi, how are you this evening?
Good evening. Good
My name is
evening.
Janet Pezzo. I have also a neighbor across the street, which is next door to the property. His name is Joe,
Okay,
and he has some questions.
of course.
What is the address?
10 Greystone Circle.
Okay, thank you.
Go, talk.
Yes, good
Yes,
evening.
please.
We're all listening.
We bought our house 15 years ago, put a lot of money into it, and we did ask at the time the real estate people, which makes no difference right now. They told us that it was not a buildable lot, that it never would be built on. And we love that lot. Dominic kept the lot very, very good. We had great privacy, especially with our pool and all that stuff down the back. Right now, we have no privacy whatsoever. It just changed the whole outlook of our backyard and everything else. And I was just looking at the back set. It's what, 14 feet away, or 14 or 16 feet away from our lot. I think that's what it shows.
16, yep.
16, is it?
Yeah, 16.3 potentially. It's not technically,
Yes.
that the actual house is not what's really being approved.
How many square feet is this house going to be, to propose size of the house?
Should I answer again? Yeah, we don't have it. we're
Yeah,
not
so
actually,
that's right. So that's not
Right.
what we're doing right now. Right now, we're just subdividing this. So we're not really, or the architect is not going to be able to answer that until he actually starts designing the house. Right now, this is just about subdividing. So
Yes. And is the guy that bought the property right now, is he going to be just subdividing and selling the lot, or is he going to build on it?
yeah, again, that's a question that we can't answer right now because we don't know what's in front of it, nor does it figure into our response to this. This is just about subdividing. I do understand your concern, but it's not something that we consider when we review the
make our
application.
complaints rather before this thing is subdivided. Once it's subdivided, the guy can probably do what he likes.
This is back to what the previous gentleman brought up about subdividing the lot, that the code does allow an owner to subdivide lots, and that's what's being put in front of us. And when we do that, it's not so much about the property that's going to go there, it's about the owner of the property's rights to subdivide it.
And very importantly, an owner of a property can only subdivide the lot if it meets the requirements for subdivision. The two lots have to both meet the requirements. So unfortunately, you were sold a bill of goods by the person who sold you your property, and I can see on a map that you're literally right next door. You would be right next door. The fact is that what is lot 2, the proposed lot 2, is able to be subdivided within the town's zoning requirements, or else we wouldn't be debating it right now. If it didn't qualify, it would be a non-starter. So the information, unfortunately, that you were given when you bought your home some years ago, wasn't really informed. And certainly, look, I think we all in this town, we're all residents of this town, we all understand and we all have a desire to keep open space. And for you, it's that much more acute because, I can see from the aerial view, I just pulled up your address, that, you have a nice pool in the back. I know there's a good amount of, there are trees or in between in landscaping, and that's sometimes the answer. And certainly, I don't know who. I see there's a whole. There are a number of trees on the border of the two properties. I don't know whose trees those are, but I certainly, Adamo, I would strongly recommend or face the wrath of this planning board that whoever is thinking about doing something better, leave those trees there and not just pull them all down and then come to us after the fact and say, well, they were in the way of our construction, so we had to pull them all down. I don't want that. That's not a valid answer. I don't know that it's clear whose trees those are.
So
mhm.
sorry. No, I believe, yeah, they're sorry.
Mhm.
Just
Go
really
ahead.
quick, yeah, just really quick. So the row of cedars right there, I believe, yeah, they are situated on the applicant's property. I mean, in this
Okay.
proposed design, we are trying to keep them. You can
Yeah.
see that retaining wall is well off.
Mhm.
16
Yes.
feet is a, pretty comfortable setback to be able to comfortably, make a, little
Yeah.
staircase going down, and obviously keep the house away from the root system of those trees and salvage them, of course.
Okay.
And again, this is a conceptual footprint. So you're just, and
Yes.
one thing that the gentleman said was, once the lot was subdivided, then the builder could do what he wants. But actually the builder would have to come back before the planning board and the architectural review board for site plan approval and architectural review approval for the new home. And to answer one other question, on a lot of that size, the house can be 3,730 square feet. And most builders do build close to the maximum permitted. Sometimes they don't, but for new homes, they typically do. So it would be 3,730.
Margaret, there's also one additional thing that we should add to the members of the public that are asking questions and voicing comments about this, is that when a proposed actual design of a home on this subdivided lot comes before the architectural review board or the planning board, that there will be a public hearing. So to the extent that members of the public wish to address the planning board with respect to a specific design that's put in front of them, the members of the public would have the right to address the board at that stage as well.
That's correct.
Correct.
Right. So that's another opportunity. Is it Mr. Pezzo to come in and discuss that? But as a board, we certainly look at the whole proposed home, not just the front elevation. We're going to look at what it looks from your side too. And although it's not open area, we're going to make sure that you're not looking at something that isn't attractive. So we obviously take your concerns. If there's more buffer in between the two properties that might actually help, we'll propose it. So.
Yeah, but that's also part of the reason that I'm very insistent on keeping those trees. I don't want a developer to come in and just bulldoze the entire area and then say, okay, here's our plan now.
Yeah, but
we've seen that before.
Well,
we've seen that before. Yes, they can.
They could do that now before we even come.
Yes, they can do it. They can do it.
Wow.
It's their property.
Can we make that a condition of approval of the subdivision?
You really can't. Yeah,
you really can't, and it's very hard. And sometimes, without knowing the conditions of the tree, the applicant under any circumstances has to provide a landscape plan prepared by a licensed landscape architect. And sometimes you can preserve trees, but if you have construction coming that close, they're going to die within a year or something anyway. So sometimes it is better to remove the plants. But I would like to defer to the licensed landscape architect, which it will be reviewed then by the architectural review board.
Okay. So I hope there's no intention to remove those anytime soon. So any other questions?
I suppose at this point there's not too much we can say. Just go ahead with the subdivision, and then we'll have to follow up on the go ahead to propose
the
type of house that they're building.
Yes, that's right.
Yep,
that's correct.
What timeline are we talking about? What's the timeline? More or less here.
We'd have to ask the architect. Any ideas?
So it's still, we have to file with Westchester County and all that stuff. So it takes a little bit of time, I would imagine. Yeah, obviously nothing over the summer because you guys don't meet over the summer. So it wouldn't probably be till maybe September, October till we're back, before you guys again. Obviously would send out, notice and whatnot.
With an actual application, right? And since they're adjacent neighbors, they'll get a notice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, even if right now, if you clean up the lot a little bit, it looks like an eyesore right now.
Adama, that's a good point. Our code enforcement officer went out there earlier today just to kind of check some things out, and he did say the grass is getting a little bit high. So if you could make sure that the owner maintains that lot.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
I'll relay
Is there equipment there right now?
So they're doing work on. They have a building permit for renovations to the existing lot, lot one. So he has some, machines there, and they're doing, renovation to that house. So yes, there is, it's currently sort of like a construction site. Because of, we had to do our deep test pits and percolation tests. So there was partially a retaining wall. They had to take it down because you need to get a machine back there to dig for the deep hole test. So that's why, some of the I guess if you kind of look at it, the staircase and that, there's gravel there now because they had to get the machine down that way. So I could try to have them, sort of clean up the property as best they
Right.
can because they're not working on that property anymore, obviously.
Right. If you could just ask them to keep in mind the adjacent property owners' concerns about eyesores, that would,
course.
a little bit of goodwill for the neighborhood would be great.
Of course.
Also, the time. What times are they there? What's their work day like? When do they show up? When do they leave? Because I think yesterday it was a little bit after 5, and I heard the bulldozer going, and maybe they were, putting it aside or whatever. But what are the times that they?
The building permits permit construction between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. It's not permitted on weekends and certain holidays. So, for example, Memorial Day won't be permitted. But Monday through Friday, it's 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
All right. Very, very good. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else there?
One moment.
Jessica?
Okay. Is there any other members of the public that wish to address the board on this application? Mr. Chairman, at this time, I don't see, scrolling through, any other hands, which indicates that there's no additional members of the public that wish to address the board on this application.
Okay, so we'll leave it open. So before we conclude, as Margaret advised me, this proposed subdivision is classified as a minor subdivision, which means that the division of land is in fewer than 5 lots on a public road. So then, Mr. Adamo, I'm making a motion that the applicant modify the sketch plan for the proposed minor subdivision in accordance with the recommendations noted in the memorandum from Kellard Sessions dated May 26, 2021, and return to the planning board for the final subdivision review at the next planning board meeting on June 24th. So I imagine you have a copy of that, Kellard Sessions?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Amending the plot, okay.
That's it.
Got it.
And then, so people need to second that and vote?
Oh, yes, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. So we'll see the final on June 24th.
Final plot, yep, got it.
Okay.
Cool.
Great. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Stick around for the next one.
Yes, right across the street, so definitely.
Okay.
Got it.
So the next application is 21-22 750 White Plains Road.
And let me get everyone up on the screen here.
You moved inside, Mr. Nemesak.
I did. The neighbor's kids and dog were having too much fun. The dog was yapping a little bit, and the kids they sounded awfully happy, too happy for the somber event.
Planning board, I hope they're not watching.
Okay,
they're still outside. They're good kids.
May we start?
Yes, please do.
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Bob Davis. I'm the attorney for the applicant, Streetworks Development. I was about to say it's nice to be back in Eastchester after a lot of years, but I'm not quite there yet. But I'm glad I'm able to be seen. Mr. Rizzo sets kind of a high bar. I'm not married, so I only have my dog to help me tonight. But we are very excited to be with you to kick off the revitalization of the former Lord and Taylor site. So I'd like to just begin by introducing our project team. With me tonight is Mr. Jose Olmo Gonzalez. He is the Senior Director of Real Estate Development for Streetworks. We have Diego Villarreal, who's a principal of JMC, our planning and engineering consultants. Also Ron Hoyna from Design Development, our project architect. and also John Canning of Kimley Horn, who's our traffic engineer. So I would like to start the program tonight, if I may, by turning the floor over to Jose Gonzalez to talk about the innovative new use we're proposing for the first 90,000 square feet of the existing building. Jose?
Thank you, Bob, and good evening, everyone. And I want to thank the members of the planning board and chairman and members of the board for giving us the opportunity to present our exciting project. HBC, the parent company of this development, has been tied to the Eastchester community for over 60 years through Lord & Taylor, and we want to continue being an active, beneficial, and relevant member of the community. Unfortunately, the Lord & Taylor closed almost 3 months ago due to the challenging environment, and now it is the right time for us to bring the site back to life, occupying it again with exciting, suitable tenants. Particularly at this time, with an exciting office opportunity affiliated to HBC. This office is a modern, flexible, and highly amenitized working and collaboration community space with a cafe and fitness center area, providing more a community than just an office space with focus on a large floor with natural light through the installation of new windows. Approximately, we're talking 20 in total on 2 levels. We believe we got a great consultant team with us on board to assist in implementing our vision for the reactivation of the site, and they will explain it in more detail. So I will pass it now to Diego.
Thank you.
Thank you. Diego will take us through the site plan, and he'll have some assistance from Ron Hoyna, our architect, to talk about the improvements we'll be making to the facade. Diego?
Good evening, everybody. For the record, Diego Villarreal with JMC, the planning and engineering consultant for the applicant. If it's okay, Mr. Chairman, I would like to share my screen. I do have a couple of slides that I can take you through just to help explain what's being proposed at this time.
Sure, please do.
Okay. Hopefully everybody can see my screen.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. So again, I just have a few slides. Understanding tonight is really an introduction to the project, and we're hoping this gives us an opportunity to share with you the proposed plans and what we're trying to do to, again, occupy the first portion of the property and really reactivate and re-energize this building. And forgive me before I even get started here, I'm going to go over some existing conditions on the property. I know all of you are probably much more familiar with the site than I am, but I am going to take a few minutes and just go over the aerial photograph and just recap on some of those existing conditions so I can orient everybody on the board. This is just an aerial photograph of the 11-acre property. It's highlighted in red. White Plains Road is on the bottom portion of the roadway down here. New Wilmot Road is off, again, this to the north. On the left-hand side of the page, you have the Vernon Hills Shopping Center to the south, and some residential properties on Wild Way and the golf course to the east. Again, the property is about 11 acres in size, just slightly larger. And the existing building that you can see, the building rooftop there, is about 215,000 square feet. The building itself is 3 levels. As you know, again, up against White Plains Road is really the second floor of the building. So the parking lot that exists off of White Plains Road here has direct access to that second floor of the building. And then because of the topography, the way it drops off in the back end of the site, or the eastern side of the site, the first floor is actually accessed off the east side of the building here. So, and there is a 3rd level of the building. It's a rather small portion of the overall building, about 18,000 square feet, if I recall correctly. But there is a small portion of the building that extends up to that 3rd floor. The parking on the property is 650 parking spaces. That is the total existing parking situated off of White Plains Road, adjacent to New Wilmot Road, and then obviously the large parking area that's in the back portion of the property. The building, the way it operated originally as the Lord & Taylor retail store, had several access points, which allowed customers to enter the building really from all of these parking areas. It's one of the main parking areas adjacent to White Plains Road. There were 3 access points that went directly into the Lord & Taylor store. And then along the back side of the property, the east side, there were several entrances as well that accessed the store and provided escalators to go up to that second level. And obviously you had the smaller parking lots off of New Wilmot Road as well. The access to the property is via 3 curb cuts. There's the White Plains Road driveway here. That's really a common driveway with the Vernon Hills Shopping Center. It's right along that property line. And then there's 2 separate curb cuts along New Wilmot Road. Included in our submission, we did just a little photo exhibit, again, using the aerial starting in the northeast corner of the site and then going clockwise to the different portions around the site. We just thought this was a useful exhibit just to really show how the site all looks along New Wilmot Road, gives you an idea of the parking lot relative to the building, and we could keep working our way around counterclockwise the southeast corner of the site through the parking lot, looking at the building. The southern property line, again, this is really looking from the Vernon Hills Shopping Center along the front half of the building itself. This is where that main entrance is on the second floor of the building. Again, starting to work your way around from White Plains Road. This is the portion of the building that gets much closer to White Plains Road. It's what projects out. And then you have the parking lot. We finish on that northwest corner near New Wilmot Road. Now, as been described to you already, the intention is to start reoccupying and reactivate this building. One of the tenant spaces is proposed to be an office use. It's going to occupy approximately 90,000 square feet, a majority of which is located on the second floor of the building. So when I say the second floor of the building, it's that area that fronts White Plains Road. So about 70,000 of that 90,000 square feet will be on that second floor, and the main entrance to that portion of the building will be via this doorway here. It's an existing canopied covered walkway that provides access into the building, and that's intended to serve as the main entrance into this new office space. Project architect Ron Hoyne, I'm going to turn it over to him in just a minute, but before we do that, I just wanted to take you through the spaces that are allocated to these different uses. And again, I'm going to go a little bit out of order and start with that second floor, because this really shows the area that's being occupied by the proposed office use, the 70,000 square feet. The partition wall falls right along this line here, which is pretty much in line with the corner of the building. So when you're looking at it from White Plains Road, the portion of the building that's closest to the roadway, it's about half of that. And then everything to the right towards the Vernon Hills Shopping Center is proposed to be occupied by the office use. And you could see it in this, the hatch pattern there. The balance of the building, once we look at that 90,000 square feet. Oh, before I get there, on the lower level, this office use will also occupy about 5,000 square feet. That's intended really to provide access to one of the main parking areas, because a majority of the parking is located in the back portion of the property. This 5,000 square feet allows the office use to extend downstairs, but also provides pedestrian access up to that second level where a majority of the office use will exist. As Jose had indicated, there is the cafe and the fitness center, and you can see all of these amenities are incorporated into the office space itself. And then that third floor that we were talking about, again here, you could see this portion is about 17,500 square feet, and then there's a small mechanical space as well. All of this would be occupied by the office space as well, and it would be ancillary to the main component on that second floor. The balance of the floor area is divided into 4 tenant spaces. We have a tenant space on that second floor adjacent to the new Wilmot Road entrance. And then on the first floor, the area that is adjacent to that large parking area was broken apart into 3 spaces. At this point in time, tenants are unknown. We do not know, do not have a specific tenant for these spaces. They're actively seeking tenants, obviously. But it is anticipated that it would be some type of medical office, or retail use, all of which are permitted by your code and would fit nicely within the existing building itself. There are a number of improvements that are being done to the building itself. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Ron just to talk about the building footprint itself and some of the improvements with the windows that are being done to really improve and modernize the office space. Ron?
Thank you.
Good evening, guys. So from the exterior, you can see the primary difference. Well, the real primary difference is that the Lord & Taylor signs are gone. But beyond that, we're looking to open up the exterior skin of the building because the use is obviously dramatically different. We went from a retail use that didn't want windows to this co-working communal environment and regular office environment that absolutely needs windows and natural light in the building. So we're keeping the volume of the building the same. We're not adding any space. We're not adding any mass or changing the exterior other than these punched windows that we're looking to place on both sides of the building. The architecture remains the same. The character of the building remains the same on the outside. And on the interior of the building, the tenant demising spaces are done to capitalize on already established parking and entry points into the property. So that's why you see the demise the way it is. We wanted to reuse those spaces and obviously want to reuse all the parking in its current configuration. The windows are also important in that the goal is to have a large floor plate, an open environment where you have a shared communal concept that sort of turns its back away from the offices and sort of rabbit warren of an architectural type. So to summarize it, we're trying to keep as much of this building as we can intact and capitalize on the things that are already there. So we're salvaging everything we can.
Thanks, Ron. We're going to jump back to the site plan, but I think this is a good exhibit that shows some of the existing conditions along the frontage of the property. I know it's a rendering, but what it does show is some of those landscaped areas that already exist around the perimeter of the property. And the intention is, even with the window configuration, to maintain as much of that as possible. With the exception of one landscaped island that was right in this area here, there was an elevated planter that was located in that area. Because of the window installation and the size of the windows, that planter is proposed to be removed. And then it would still remain a planter, it's just getting lowered from that raised planter down to the lower level. Besides that, the intention is to maintain the various landscaped areas along the frontage of the property and keep it in its current form. Going back to the site plan itself, again, just focusing in on this area very quickly, because this being the main entrance of the building, direct access is being provided from this parking lot adjacent to the main entrance of the building. With the exception of some restriping, because this is the main entrance, we are relocating some accessible parking spaces and doing some restriping and signage and shifting it closer so it's proximate to the main entrance of the building. With the exception of that striping, the rest of the parking is proposed to remain in the same fashion it is right now. Even with the restriping that we're doing, we're maintaining the 650 parking spaces for the overall property. Again, because office use is a less intensive parking use that your code requires of retail, the existing parking spaces on the property doesn't require any relief, even though the existing retail store itself did not meet your current code. The office spaces requires less parking than the retail use. So therefore, it's actually a reduction in the degree of nonconformity for the existing parking spaces. With the parking spaces, we are creating a small drop-off area along the main entrance of the building. In today's world, obviously with Uber, Lyft, and other opportunities for drop-off and pickup, we thought it was important to have just a little drop-off space along the frontage of the property. So from a site circulation standpoint, we'd maintain the existing entrance off of White Plains Road. If somebody comes in off of White Plains Road, they do have the ability to make the left-hand turn here. At the point past these parking spaces, it does become one way, and there is a drop-off area here. So somebody coming in this middle aisle here would not be able to make a right turn, and it's signed accordingly with do not enter and one-way signs, so that the circulation is intended to be in this fashion, and this area could be used as a drop-off and pickup area. Because we have that secondary entrance in the back portion of the building, which is located right about here, this is provides access to that second floor, but also provides access to a large part of the parking area in the back portion of the building itself. The balance of the circulation around the perimeter of the building, the vehicle parking spaces, the access points are all proposed to remain the same. Understanding that traffic is always a concern when we're looking at changes of use. John Canning obviously is with us this evening too. I'm going to turn it over to him in a minute here just to take you through the traffic analysis that is in the process of being finalized. It's just about there, and we're going to submit it to the board. And I know we've been working with Mr. Greeley and Ms. Yulee on a number of these items, talking to them to try to address some comments and concerns before we even got to the board. So the traffic study will be submitted to the board shortly for everybody's review. But I'm sure John has a quick update on that, and he could take you through some of the highlights. John?
Thanks, Diego. Good evening, members of the board. So as Diego mentioned, we have been coordinating with Ms. Yulee and Mr. Greeley. We started the study. We hope to have you something soon to review. What I can tell you is the applicant's proposing to convert 90,000 square feet of currently retail space to office space, and that office generates about 2/3 less traffic than retail space in the busiest hour. So that will relieve traffic operating conditions. And then the applicant would like to have the flexibility to reuse the balance of the building for either office, medical office, or its currently permitted use as retail space. So we've evaluated the traffic potential for each of these uses. You'll see it in the report. And we've concluded that they will all generate less traffic than what was previously generated by Lord & Taylor during the busiest hours. We're still evaluating traffic operating conditions at the individual intersections and driveways, but we expect to be able to demonstrate that the application will not have a significant impact on traffic operating conditions. And similarly, as Diego mentioned, we've been evaluating parking from a code and a demand perspective. So not just what your code requires, but also what's going to actually be out there in practice, and have concluded that the proposal to convert the building for office or even medical use will reduce the existing parking nonconformity, as well as reducing the peak parking demand. So those are basically the high points of the traffic. We look forward to submitting the report to you, having you and your experts review it, and then working through the process with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that essentially concludes our presentation and takes you through just a good overall summary of the project. Bob, I don't know if you have anything else you want to close before we go to some Q&A.
I would just say that our project team is available now to answer any preliminary questions the board may have.
Yes, very nice presentation. Thank you. For some of us, it's bittersweet. But but it looks like
for all of us,
especially our significant others.
Yeah.
But I like what you've done. So since this rendering is up, I see just about all of the windows on these renderings, on this rendering, are new, part of the proposal. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Very nice. And
So
there's
new. All of these are
Right.
new. A new
And
doorway here.
the new doorway, that's a covered walkway to the doorway.
Right here?
Yeah, that's all.
That's
new, right?
that's the existing opening.
Oh, is it really? Wow. I
Yeah,
didn't
well,
realize
it's a
it
different,
like that.
it's a better canopy, but an existing opening.
Right, but it's better
Right now, it's a
canopy.
fabric. It's a fabric pitched canopy.
Are these windows going to continue to what would be the the second floor on the east front of the building?
They wrap the building.
That's
you
this
see.
rendering here.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's see.
okay.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
very nice.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a very large blank
Yeah.
brick wall today, and
Mhm.
opening this
Yeah.
up will really get that second floor flooded with light. So
Much nice.
we think it's a big improvement.
Yeah, 'cause it's a big space. I mean,
It is.
I know the space very well.
It is.
I still think you're gonna require significant amounts of artificial lighting, but
We will, but we want to grab as much natural light as we can to really make the space feel environmentally friendly, so it feels like a really comfortable space.
And tell me, because I guess I'm not 100% following you here. The 90,000 square feet, which is 70,000 on the second floor, that is occupying, I guess, the entire southern portion of the second floor.
Men's department and
and
back to the front.
No, but and the shoes and the
Yes.
the makeup in the middle and and the women's
Spent enough
stuff.
time
Yeah,
there.
all right. I actually worked at Lord & Taylor in the receiving department in the 1980s when I was in college. So I know the store very well. And in fact, the southern part was not part of Lord & Taylor at the time. It was the very, I'm sorry, the southern part was not.
The end cap, yeah.
Yeah. So this 70,000 square feet, and putting aside the first floor, which is primarily an access to the parking lot in the back, and putting aside the third floor piece, which looks like it's certainly not. It's almost an incidental component.
It is.
What is how is this 70,000 square feet on the second floor intended to be used? Who's going to occupy it? How's it going to be marketed? What's the plan?
I think Jose would be best situated to answer that.
Yes, of course. So that's going to be mainly the primarily driver of the layout for the office component. We're still revising our plans on how we're going to divide it with the different setups and layouts. But basically, we know where we want to have the fitness area. We know where we want to have the cafe area, and the remaining of the space could be. That is why we don't like to call it's like an office or traditional office. It's more like an office and community hub of people, because you're going to have couches, you're going to have areas that you can work. It doesn't need to be like a table where you have your laptop, right? So we are still evaluating and analyzing all of those components at this moment.
Okay,
but we're there.
So is it conceived that this is going to be a number of different businesses all kind of cohabitating the same space? Is it going to be a single business? Break it down. Yeah.
This is intended to be a single operator. It's an office space.
Got it.
The 90,000 square feet will be occupied by this proposed office use. We don't have a name for you today, just it's in the process of being branded, and hopefully it's something we can share with you in the near future. But this space, the 90,000 square feet, is going to be occupied by this single office user. And it is an amenitized, active office space. As Jose had indicated, it's going to have different areas where you can go set up to work, you move around, you can go to the cafe, you can go to the fitness center, but it's intended to be not your, cubicle track or your box where you go to work. It's more of a modern office setup.
Okay, yeah, because I was hearing in
but
some
it's
of
a
the
single
presentation.
user.
Yeah, I was hearing in the presentation some of these newer concepts about different companies sharing a space and actually working next to somebody who might be working for a different company altogether. That's not the conception here.
But no,
Yeah.
it is in this. It's one operator of the space, but it might be Diego from JMC, and it might be Ron Hoyna
in my
from
office
development.
So it's basically maybe off of the blueprint of WeWork.
I guess, yeah, Jose.
Okay.
So it is from a design.
Yeah, we don't like to be compared, but yes, just pointing.
I don't want to stick it on you, but I happen to know a lot about it and know of what the places look like. So as you were leading me down that road and painting a picture, it seemed like it may be going towards that.
Exactly. Yes. To simply answer that question, but to go back to the point before about the operator, it will be operated by us. I want to say us, meaning part of the Hudson Bay and affiliated to the Hudson Bay company, as mentioned previously. But then the use, the members in this case who can use it, it can be, Diego. We're happy to have JMC, be part of it, and any other, of course, to revitalize the actually shopping area around. Yes.
Any intentions to do anything in lead or in and any solar or anything like that in the space?
We haven't gotten that far into the technical aspect of it yet, but we typically would consider that as we get into construction drawings.
So Ron, I would offer that reusing the building is sort of a green aspect to it as well. We're not investing energy to knock it down and build something else.
Right. True.
Correct.
Okay. And now, so you've explained the office space. Now, the medical office / retail, the 47,000 on the north end of the building here, and the 41,000, another 15 and 18. Roughly, I guess the other, it's more than half the building actually space.
125,000.
Yeah. It is allocated at the moment for this for these buckets, medical office, retail, whatever. What's going to be done with that short term? It sounds to me like you have a much better sense of where you're going with the office, the 90,000 in office space right now, and that the other part of it is still being formulated. How do you foresee that playing out and when?
So
go ahead, Diego.
I was just going to say at this point you hit the nail on the head. The 90,000 plus square feet, 92,000 square feet, HBC / Streetworks Development. It's their affiliate and their company that will operate that office use. The other 4 spaces, as we said, we tentatively, for purposes of this application, broke it down into those 4 tenant spaces, just based on location of demising walls and entrances. It's where it made sense to divide and break up those spaces. We analyzed it from our EAF standpoint, and I know Mr. Canning analyzed it from a traffic standpoint as a worst case scenario, looking at it as a medical office, or retail use, whichever one ends up generating the most amount of vehicular trips. It's contemplated that it will be one of those 3 uses, either a medical office, or retail space, but there is no specific tenant right at this point. There could be somebody that comes in and takes 2 of those spaces. We just don't know exactly how that will be leased ultimately. So for purposes of this application, we really looked at everything from a worst case scenario, from a parking standpoint, and other potential impacts. Again, we're reusing the existing building, reusing the parking areas, so we really do feel that it's really making the best use of the property, and all of the uses that are contemplated are permitted under your code and work from a zoning standpoint. So we tried to look at it really from the traffic standpoint as a worst case scenario. That's all.
Yeah, I should think.
Hi everyone.
Yep.
Sorry, I got kicked out. I don't know what happened, so I just rejoined again.
Oh, okay.
We're still here.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
saying, it strikes me, and I'm certainly not a developer, that the three of the main attributes that this property has going for it is location, and it just is a large amount of space, and it does have very abundant parking. For whatever the use is, it was never a problem getting a space at Lord & Taylor because there just was so much parking there. And yet, I think, Diego, you mentioned that that even with the 650 spaces, it was not presently conforming to the town code, and nor will what you envision putting in conform. It will just be a lower degree of nonconformance. So
Exactly.
what would be
That's right.
required? And I guess you'd kind of have to know whether you have medical offices or retail or whatever, what medical office, regular office or retail, in order to calculate out exactly what would be required. But in a worst case scenario, positing your 92,000 square feet office space, what's the most amount of parking that you would be required to have if you were able to fill the entire 215,000 square feet?
Okay.
I think Mr. Canning did that analysis, right, Diego?
Either way, I can. It's looking at it from a zoning standpoint, and the retail is the more intensive parking requirement at 1 per 150 square feet. So the building itself, under its existing condition, was considered a retail store. And when you look at the code for the 215,000 square feet, believe it or not, that would have required over 1,400 parking spaces. We know that's steep. It's an excessive amount of parking for any type of retail use. If we looked at this entire building as an office use, it would require 1,075 parking spaces because your code requires 5 per 1,000 or 1 per 200 square feet, which is still extensive for an office use. But your code doesn't distinguish between general office and medical office. It still requires 1 per 200 square feet. So if we maintained the existing retail for the entire building, it's 1,434 spaces. If the entire building was converted to office, it would require 1,075 spaces. The fact that we're converting 90,000 square feet takes that number to right in between the two.
Right, got it.
But it's never going to be more than the 1,434 required because that's what it is today. But it won't be less than the 1,075 because that's if you converted the entire building.
Got it. And that's going to be presumably an issue for the zoning board.
Well, no,
This isn't going
because
to
it's
the zoning board.
Existing nonconformity.
Existing. Okay.
And it's decreasing as long as you under your code.
That's right.
As long as
That's right.
It's called the dimensional nonconformity parking, and as long as you don't increase it, or certainly if you're decreasing it, you don't need any relief.
Well, it's no way it can actually increase, right? Unless you added space to it.
Well, or you went to another use that required more demand, but that's not what's being proposed.
Okay.
And that's if you didn't offset such a use by, for example, putting more at office. It could offset the possibility of a greater parking use.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions from the board, guys? No.
No, I'm good.
No. That's what I have.
Very good presentation.
Yes, it's encouraging. So, Margaret, we heard from their traffic consultant for Kimberly Horn is, I guess our consultant hasn't called in.
Phil is here. He's here. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's been here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Greeley.
Mr. Chairman, good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Now, sure. Step right up.
So we're anxiously awaiting Mr. Canning's traffic report, traffic and parking. Just a couple of items. We had provided some early input in terms of the scope of the study. I think the direction that he is going with that is the proper way to address this site. The medical office use in terms of parking, as Diego mentioned, is more intensive than a regular office space. But as they move forward with the plans, I guess a couple of things relative to traffic and parking. And some of this goes back, I remember shopping in this store back in the 1960s. So, and most of the time I remember parking in what I call the back or the east lot because of some of the complications up in the front lot there. So a couple of things just to think about, and with the 90,000 square feet, really the bulk of it being on that second floor, and I don't know the exact number, but you probably have about 100 parking spaces up in that front area off of 22 off of White Plains Road, and where the driveway comes in between the Vernon Hills Shopping Center. Couple of things just to consider. That driveway right now is restricted. Right turns in, right turns out. You are not permitted to make left turns at that driveway. So that means that people arriving from the north. So thank you, Diego.
Yeah, I just thought this might be helpful.
So at this driveway, so we have the signal to the north and at Swift Avenue, and the driveway that serves that upper lot is really restricted to right turns in, right turns out. So when traffic wants to head back south, the majority of that traffic in that lot basically cuts through the Vernon Hills Shopping Center and comes out at the light at Burnham, what used to be Burnham, at the driveway to the shopping center. So in terms of circulation, and if you look at the demand for that 90,000 square feet, you probably have about 100 parking spaces up in this area. And even using a very generously low parking ratio of around 3 to 4 spaces per 1,000 square feet, you would need probably about 300 parking spaces. So clearly that access to the lower level, the east parking area that Diego mentioned, the stair and the escalator access is going to be important. In terms of traffic arriving from the north, the logical way is to make the left turn at the Old Wilmot Road signal and come in the back axis, I'll call it, or the easterly side. So I think that's important in terms of traffic patterns. But to jump back for a minute at the driveway at Route 22, one of the things that historically would go on at that driveway, even though it's limited to right turns in, right turns out, the proximity of the first drive aisle as you come in and out of that driveway would tend to block up at times, people cutting across. So we would like to see the applicant look at that a little bit. I know they're changing some of the drop-off patterns, but to consider possibly looking at a canoe island extending, past that first bay, because if you have traffic that's looking for a parking space and they're cutting from this lot over to Vernon Hills at the same time that somebody's coming in the driveway off of 22, there is not a lot of room to maneuver there. So we would like them to look at that. So it's related to really access and circulation. It's not the traffic numbers versus the parking numbers on the site. And we can work more with their engineer and traffic consultant on that. But that is a concern. I think the use of the east lot and the internal connectivity is going to be very important. And, once we get the study, we'll get into some of the numbers and aspects in more detail. But we have the opportunity to clean up and maybe improve some of the circulation items, especially at that driveway. And I think we want to make sure that gets done here. Also, because of the nature of what I call a non-conventional office space, and I think John will give proper estimates of trips, etc. But we would like at least put into consideration, one of our early comments is that once this space is occupied and unknowing, the medical or the retail use, and I think it will function, because, even when we had 220,000 square feet of retail space, there was never a problem getting a parking space. But we feel that this is the type of application that may require to have a post-occupancy relook at, just to make sure of the actual parking ratios and the distribution of traffic at the driveways before some of the other space gets occupied, because it will depend on whether it's retail or medical office. And I think John's study will really focus on the numbers, and as long as we are not exceeding that, may be fine, but we feel at least our early indication would be to have some sort of a limited post-occupancy of this, what I call non-conventional office space, just to make sure that everything is functioning properly. So once we get John's report, we will focus in more detail. But I think it's important for the applicant to at least look at that driveway and understand, the restrictions, the left turn restrictions entering and exiting that driveway.
So as part of the study that the applicant is showing, are we asking them to look at the circulations for the entire parking lot? And I imagine that would be.
I think primarily it's really at the access points. Sure. I think, they have thought out, at least in looking at the plans, I just looked at them quickly today, they've thought about the other parts of the internal circulation, but I would say focus on that driveway. And eventually the driveway out to East Wilmot, the signalized driveway, the proximity of the drive aisle closest to that. So if you, Diego, if you could zoom in on that area. So
actually be better here.
No, that was good what you had there, actually.
Oh, you want me to go back?
Yeah, if you could just go back to that, because the tree was a little clearer on that one. So
this one?
Yep. That's perfect. So the one thing here, this drive aisle, as you come in off of Old Wilmot Road, yes. So that proximity to the signalized intersection, when you have vehicles queuing, exiting out of here, making a left out of that lot when traffic is exiting or traffic is queued at the light, occasionally in the past was problematic, but the traffic flow was a little different. So we'd also like you to look at that area. I think the grade differential there between that and the other lot, at least as you get close to that area, could work. And we may want to, look at closing at least that first bay off there, just so that when we have vehicles stacking, exiting at the signal, that we don't end up with a conflict point there. And again, that may be something that we can, work through, and whether it gets done in this first phase of reoccupancy, but I think it's something that is important. We have the opportunity to clean up and make these access drives function as efficiently as possible. I think the rest of the layout of the parking area is what it is. And I think you will, restripe it as necessary in any signing. I think Diego will go through that. But again, we would like to see a little focus right at the main entry points, both at this driveway and at the Route 22 driveway.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, just to kind of offer something as the traffic prosecutor in town, I will tell you that probably 25 to 30% of my tickets that I'm enforcing in court are people going directly from the Fresh Market parking area, the north end of it, straight across the double yellow line. It's a little bit of a slant northward into that other lot. It's quite dangerous. And into the Lord and Taylor, the north entrance on 22 there. As a matter of fact, it's gotten so bad at times that they will typically park a police vehicle in that north lot off of 22 just to catch people coming in, because it's just such a dangerous spot coming across that double yellow line. So to the extent that there's anything that can be done to address that, that would be, from a safety standpoint, very helpful.
Great. Thank you for that. I would never think of doing that, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Sure. Similar.
We
Okay.
put signage up there, is no shortage of signs there. It's just, people want to go to Lord and Taylor, so they come straight across.
That's just crazy. Okay. Point taken. And Mr. Greeley, thank you for your observations. I'm sure the applicant will look at those as well as everything else. I don't have any other comments right now, so let's keep this moving along. If no one else on the board has comments, let's go to the public hearing and see if anyone has comments. So I make a motion to open the public hearing on this application 21-22, 750 White Plains Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, looking at the attendees list, if there's anyone that wishes to address the board on this application, use the raise your hand feature, and I'll invite you to unmute yourself. At this time, Mr. Chairman, there appears to be no member of the public that wishes to address the board on this application.
Oh, actually, you have one, Rob.
It went up and then went down.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, wait, we have somebody. There's a Mr. Castaldi. Go invite you to unmute yourself. Please identify yourself for the board. Go ahead, you're on.
Mr. Castaldi?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Castaldi, and I actually live at 18 Wildway. And I'm actually very concerned at the fact that there's going to be these additional windows on the back of where Lord and Taylor's currently is. Given the fact that my home is right there and there's not enough coverage, would the applicant consider putting some type of shrubbery or trees there so that this way, I mean, if you're looking at office occupancy, then you're looking at people that may be working late into the night. I would rather not have anyone looking into my children's windows at night. That kind of scares me.
One thing we would note is that our hours are probably going to be 7 to 7, so there won't be people there late at night at all.
Okay.
But one of the comments that I was going to have at the end of this is I think we would like the applicant to look at providing additional landscaping, and I don't know what kind of opportunity there is in your particular location, but I definitely think the applicant needs to look at providing a landscape plan of some sort. So that's definitely something that should be addressed.
We're happy to do that for the next meeting.
Guys.
Mr. Davis, when you say that the hours are going to be 7 to 7, do you close up shop at 7, or those are the typical hours? Yeah.
Essentially, as I understand, and I'll let Jose speak to this, but because of the way in which this is run, where it's a flex office type of situation, you don't want people coming in at all hours. It'll be supervised. There'll be a front desk where people have to check in and pay whatever fee for whatever plan that they're using. But it's not a situation where it's 24 hours a day. It's a limited use. People should not be there in typical circumstances at night. Jose, do you want to add anything to that?
So you are 100% correct. We're targeting 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But the point from Mrs. Castaldi is really well made, and we will look into it as well as Margaret mentioned.
I guess you could put some sort of treatment on the windows, some tall verticals to sort of obstruct a view straight in. That would be that would be certainly helpful.
Yeah, certainly.
As we for sure, we'll look to incorporate some of these things for sure.
Sure, it's a valid concern. Any other comments there?
That was it on my end.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did any other hands pop up while?
I am working on that now. Okay, if there are any other members of the public that wish to address the board, please raise your hand at this time. Mr. Chairman, there are no members of the public that are indicating they wish to address the board.
Great. So we'll leave the public hearing open. I'll make the comment that I am astounded that no one's commenting on this, but let's keep going.
Well, we
I'm
hope
astounded
that
that yeah.
it's a relatively innocuous use. We've heard all sorts of rumors bandied about as to what might go here. So we're hopeful people will see that this is a very positive development for the community.
But I also think word is just now getting out, and within the 200-foot radius does not actually capture a whole lot of residents. So I think we'll probably get more for the ARB and then more when the applicant comes back to you in June. I think part of the problem is what's encompassed in the 200-foot radius.
Oh, okay, good point. Point taken. As I said, to continue moving forward, I'll make a few comments and then we'll, I guess we could wrap it up. So regarding secret status, the proposed action is classified as a type 1 action, and the applicant has submitted an environmental assessment form.
Full environmental assessment form.
Full environmental assessment form. And the planning board will serve as the lead agency for the review of the application, and there are no other involved agencies. So what's to do next? So I'm going to, right now, since I just said that, I'll make a motion classifying the proposed action as type 1 action, confirming that the planning board will serve as the lead agency for the environmental review of the application. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We've already said that the applicant will submit the traffic study, which our consultant will review. Kellard Sessions, Joe Tremelli, will review the stormwater management plan and sanitary sewer plan once it's provided.
And can I just clarify something? I don't believe the applicant is proposing a new stormwater management plan. Diego, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We just want Joe to confirm that it's functioning properly and there aren't any issues with it. And then he also can provide an analysis with regard to sanitary sewer as well.
And that's correct. We're not doing anything with stormwater.
Yeah,
and that may not be necessary. I would just like our civil engineer to confirm that on behalf of the board. So I just wanted to clarify, we're not anticipating that the applicant is proposing a new stormwater management plan that will need to be evaluated.
Understood and agreed.
Okay.
Thank you. The next one we've discussed, we think that the members of the board and the staff of the building department are going to do a site walk just to look around, look at existing conditions, and see what there is there that we can comment upon, landscaping, facade. And I think we're going to walk just to understand what's there, and we may find some conditions that we would ask you to look at, evaluate, and remediate, modify, make a little bit nicer after we do the walk.
Understood.
And we're also obviously asking you guys to do the same. I mean, it is your property, so if there's anything there that you think could be bettered a little bit, cleaned up a little bit, painted, just to make it more presentable to your clients, I think it would be our best interest too. So I think if you do that and we'll come back with our comments, we can address it at the next meeting.
We'll certainly take a look at that before the next meeting.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get out there and maybe coordinate with Diego or somebody just to look at things like if there's curbs that need to be replaced or repaired, or pavement or sidewalks or fencing. They seem like minor details, but I think they make a big difference with the overall quality and character of the site. So, I'll try to come up with a punch list and work with the applicant with that as well.
Okay. Happy to join you for a walk if we can do that, and we could document all that and try to get that captured for the next meeting.
Sooner rather than later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be helpful on my part.
Okay.
As Margaret said, we were asking that a landscape plan be prepared and reviewed by the ARB before it goes to the.
We will prepare that landscaping plan addressing some of the comments that we heard this evening.
Sure. So the next stop along the way is it's going to the ARB.
Yeah, it's our understanding that the ARB meeting, the next one is June 3rd. So it's our understanding we'd proceed with that.
Yes.
A week from today. Yeah.
And as Margaret and I were discussing before, it's in everyone's benefit that this move along as quickly as possible. So if you can certainly prepare the traffic study and get it to our consultant with adequate time to review before the next meeting, that would certainly help everyone's cause.
We are motivated to move very quickly.
Good. Glad to hear that. Don't have any more comments, guys?
No.
None
So
here.
that wraps it up. Thank you for the thank you for the renderings. Thank you for the nice presentation, and we're looking forward to meeting with you again next week. And Margaret, you told me when that was next month. Next meeting is
time flies.
Yeah. That's right.
We would love to meet next week. If needed.
And now next meeting is June 24th. Great, guys.
Very much.
We'll see you then.
Thank you, everyone. Be well.
Thanks.
Have a
Good
great
night,
night.
everybody.
Have a great
Have a
night.
nice
Good
evening.
night. Take care.
Good night.
Great. That's everything on our side. So I'll make a motion to close the Town of Eastchester Planning Board meeting of May 27, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
night.
Good
night,
night.
everyone.
Good
Have a
seeing
good,
everyone.
Bye.
good holiday weekend, everyone.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
thank
You too.
you.
All right. Goodbye.
Good night.